Hello, Cancer. How's everybody doing today? I hope that you're doing well. I'm really looking forward to taking a look at the month of November for you and seeing what kind of messages are coming through. I've already had a busy morning channeling a bunch of information for you, and we'll get into that in just a second. I'd like to take a moment first to just introduce myself. My name is Nicholas Ashbaugh, and as I said, we'll be looking at the sign of Cancer for the month of November. I design these readings so you can watch them, of course, for your birth sign, but also for your rising or your moon sign if you know it. If you happen to know other aspects of your chart and you want to look at that, that's fine as well. Unlike some other viewers or some other readers out there, actually, I welcome cross watchers, or you can look on behalf of someone that you love, like I said. So with that out of the way, again, we'll be looking at the month of November. I separated into a few distinct parts. I like to begin with channeled messages at the beginning. And this comes from dreams and meditations and also automatic writing. I'll pull the camera down in a second so you can see the cards here. So we'll do the psychic downloads first, which I call the channel messages. Then we'll take a look at the Celtic Cross to see what information is coming through in a more tactical way. And I let that sort of take whatever direction it needs to, whether it's career or love or something else, it will go in that direction. Then we expand the forecast to look at health, wealth, love, and destiny in particular. And after a quick review, we'll go a little deeper into the soul journey, the soul's path, as I call it, and see if there's a few things that need to be resolved. And I typically look at a past, present, and future influence as we do that. And then at the very end, we'll do a meditation and a sound bath to integrate all of those messages together. Apollo's been very patient and loving the past few days and has stuck around for the whole beginning. So I'm going to put him down now so that I can get started. And let's do that. So as I said, I like to show up at the beginning and I channel messages here. And many times I'll see something in a dream before we get started, or I just kind of am guided as I'm writing, which is a really valuable way to expand your intuition. For those of you that would like to know how you can tap into your higher self or exercise your third eye, I talk about journaling. Journaling can include something as simple as just putting a few words down on paper. It's not a sort of diary like I did this and I did this and I saw that. That's more like play by play. So a good way for you to kind of tap into potential each morning is to sort of write down some words in a book and see how they play out or see what's going on. It's just a good way to check in internally. So that's what I've done here. And I'm going to take a moment here and discuss all the things that came through. I color code them based on like my train of thought. So usually everything in the same color has some sort of common theme. People have asked me what the colors are about. That's all. So at the beginning here was really about the power of thought, and what my guides were imparting on me and asking me to kind of tell you is to expect a positive outcome. And this is so difficult, right? Especially when, you know, you kind of feel like all of these issues are popping up, whether it's technological problems. Many of us are going to be going through that because, as you know, Mercury retrograde goes from mid-October to the very beginning of November, but it will be done around the 4th or 5th, and there'll be a little bit of a shadow for that first week. And then really by the second week of November, everything should be in a good place for the most part. But it's relevant now, and it'll be relevant in November to kind of pay attention to staying positive as you hit some of these little roadblocks. A lot of times when I have something like this happen in my life, it gives me a chance to like perfect something or bring something into a little bit better focus. And so I try to be grateful, and I try not to, or I try to redirect my attention to something that I can control. So that's message number one, is to expect a positive outcome even when you're faced with challenges, and just think to yourself, simple as this: I'll figure it out, or this person's going to work with me. I know we can figure this out together. And that trust and that thought is usually an anchoring and an attractive sort of energy. So hold that tight this month. You may need it. And again, for those of you watching live, many of these messages, especially in this portion, could be relevant now. So if you feel like you need to kind of use any of it here and now, please do. In the same manner, hope and encouragement are a lot more powerful than despair or basically telling someone that they're not good. So you can use this for yourself, trying to remain hopeful, like I said at the beginning, and then encouraging yourself to try something new or to do this, or I'm gonna keep doing this. And if someone in your life is not meeting up to your expectations, try to praise what's going well, encourage them to keep doing whatever it is that you need to get done or whatever they're trying to accomplish. and remain positive on that potential. Particularly, I like to say this often, but it bears repetition, children. Children need to have that idea that it can get better, it will get better. So please focus on that. By the way, I forgot to mention, I just saw that I got a super chat. Super chats are welcome. I don't answer any questions during the reading, but I will say that like what you give in super chat helps me buy new cards. And so thank you for that. And I also forgot to welcome both Ryan and Maria. They're my moderators. They can answer questions while I'm doing what I'm doing. All right, back into the reading. What's important about hope, encouragement, and a positive sort of way of thinking is that they're alchemic, and these can reshape the outcomes in front of you. So if you are going through something and it's kind of a mess, if you are feeling really upset, have you ever noticed like taking a deep breath, taking some time away, not sending that email, not picking up the phone, not being angry can save you so much trouble. And when you do sort of let all that stuff out, which we do periodically, it's a lot of cleanup afterwards because it was really just you dumping energy on someone else. So processing it is going to be important. Resting is going to be important. We saw a message at the end of yesterday's reading with the Four of Swords, just to kind of like take a breather, take a break. I think all signs could benefit from that this month, making sure that there's enough rest, that there's this feeling of, I can actually finish that tomorrow. It's okay. And I might have better solutions in my mind, my third eye, when I wake up in the morning. So if something's really vexing or taxing you, take a break, ask for some help, and then reset yourself the following morning and see what can happen. Your attitude can actually change what's going on in a very big way. And people will be either more or less likely to work with you based on how you're coming off with nonverbal and also verbal energy. So that's part of why it's important. How you feel infuses your thoughts and your physical demeanor with energy. So you want to try to bring it higher if you can. All right, that's the main thing with perspective and energy. But then there was a little bit more about what's going on, especially since we're in the last quarter of the year. For some of you, you may be in a point of your life where something's coming to a close. Many of us, myriad people right now, have gone through layoffs, furloughs, just jobs ending full stop because of the economy and the change in the way that we're doing business, the way that consumers are spending. And so if you have a chapter in your life that's coming to a close, try to embrace it as an opportunity. It's not fun. It's difficult, especially if you have children, a partner, or even if it's just you and maybe you don't have anyone to support you. That's even more pressure because you're counting on yourself. So however you slice it, it's a tough year for all of us because we've had to adjust. Every single person's had to adjust on some levels. But I'm a writer, as you know. I like to think when you finish one story, you start the next. When you finish one chapter, you start the next. You're only done if you don't keep going. So part of this is to think, like, what do I want to write next? What is my next story? What's the next page or what's the next chapter in my journey? And so for you, many of you are going through like an ending, but that also opens up a beginning and an opportunity in front of you. So remember, your story isn't over unless you want it to be. And try to figure out, like, what do I want next? And I think one of the things that's a holdover from the 20th century, we're in the 21st, but we used to think that, I'll just go to job and that'll guarantee me, just go to school, that'll guarantee me a job. I'll just stick at that job for a while, then I'll get a retirement. But like, it was sort of phoning it in. So I want you to think in broader strokes. Like, I studied this, I'm good at this, but I'd like to do this. And if this doesn't work out, I have plan B, plan C, plan D. We really need to start thinking ahead of this and start to think not just about retirement or monetary sort of blocks in our savings account. We also need to sort of think about, what am I trying to do in my life? Do I feel a sense of fulfillment? Do I want to start a business? Do I want to start a family? Do I want to go back to school? What's going on with me in this planetary existence during this incarnation that I feel like I still need to work on? These are big questions that you may not have an answer to right now. No problem. Retrograde's coming through mid-October, like I said, to early November. So it's a good time to reflect backward and see. We can look at this a little bit in the soul path too, and see what it is that you can resolve and work on. And maybe if there is a soul yearning or journey that you didn't take, this is the time to start to figure out how to do it. It's an excuse How many times do we get an excuse to try something new? When we're kids, we get to go to school, and it's this wonderful selfish endeavor where we can study something. Those of us that are lucky enough to be able to go to college, you get a chance for like 2, 4, 8, however many years you're going to go to college to study and learn and develop. But it doesn't stop there, and that's the problem. We need to keep feeding ourselves and feeding our minds and feeding our hearts and feeding our spirits. So at this point in the world, irrespective of age, of your job, your money, your experiences, 2020 is pushing you and calling you to figure out what you're about. And don't freak out. Just spend some time meditating on it and think like, am I done with what I'm doing right now? Maybe I don't want to go back to that. Maybe if that job is ending or it's about to end or there's a lot of stress, I just want to try something different. And if you're retired, your journey's not over either. You can give back. You can support some of the people right now too that are going through this because you've seen more. And as we get older, like that life experience is a super rich and valuable thing that we give back. I give back a little in these readings. You can give back in different ways, talking to someone, listening to somebody, however you can do it. There's a lot of ways to support the collective. And I think that's one of our collective responsibilities is to help each other right now. Let's go into the next category here, which is about understanding what you're doing to call things into your life right now. There are no coincidences. Full stop. Everything that's going on in your life, you called it into being. Some way, shape, or form, on a soul level. So with that being said, that's kind of, for some of you, that might be a, oh my goodness sort of thing, because we think people stumble across us. There's really no serendipity. There are synchronicities. There are lessons that we call in. There are opportunities that we are faced with. Nothing's an accident. Nothing's a waste. Nothing's lost. So even if you've spent a lot of time doing something and it hasn't been good for you for whatever reason, you wanted to go through the experience on maybe a soul or subconscious level, like that amount of time gave you what you needed. Just like a PhD takes a certain amount of time and a master's or a bachelor or an associate takes a certain amount of time. Sometimes our soul needs time to learn a lesson. So first and foremost, give yourself forgiveness, permission, and a sense of ease and not kind of just thinking, I'm exactly where I need to be. Now, then do an audit of what's going on in your life. How do I feel about this? If you don't like something, release and integrate the lesson that is implicit or part of that. And so if it's a relationship and the person keeps sort of testing you in certain ways, whether it's about being faithful or honest or whatever it is, or you just don't ever communicate in the same way, think about like, how do I feel when I'm with them? Do I want to be with them still? And what have they taught me? And of all of these things, if I added them up together, am I in the positive or the negative with this experience? And if it's kind of like in the middle, you can figure out if you want to work on it. If you're in the negative, there's definitely something to be thought about there. Like, why do I keep putting myself through it? Have I not learned the lesson yet? So learn the lesson, integrate the lesson, release the person, and then release the pattern. Because if we just release the person but not the pattern, then the person comes back with a different face and a different name and a different age. So this is really about acknowledging that. And it's so powerful in doing it right now because we're in retrograde soon. You're not in it like you will be in November. If you're watching it in October, it's going to be around the 15th, 14th, 15th. So soon. The pre-shadow is already here and the post-shadow will be here. So let's just say we're in the energy, we're around the retrograde. So this is a really good time to start to do it. So look at the people, look at the situations, look at the opportunities in your life, add them up and kind of do the cosmic math and think, what am I gaining? What am I losing from this? And why do I keep existing in it if it's not a positive sort of experience, okay? Liberation and opportunities will follow after that integration of the lesson has taken place and then the dismissal of that experience, whether it's, again, person, place, or thing. But the integration piece is necessary. We all hold a certain point of accountability with everything. I've talked about this before too, but I forget which signs I say which messages to so apologies if it's a repeat for some of you. But I was once going through a really difficult, just a friendship situation where someone was betraying me. And I had a great friend in my life, also a Reiki practitioner, someone that I would go and talk to. And she said, honey, I'm sorry, you brought this person into your life. She said, you need to look at yourself and figure out where the kind of crack was in your protective shield and don't sort of put this person in a place of blame or demonizing them or anything like that. They're going through their own lessons. You're going through your own lessons. They've come to teach you. And if you can look at them as a teacher, just graduate, just get dismissed from that lesson and you can move on. And don't give the person so much power, because, you know, maybe it's an ex in your life. Maybe it's a friend that betrayed you. Maybe it's a family member that did something, stole money, whatever. There's like any number of things that can come to mind here. But when we sort of look at them and think, I hate you, that's such a powerful thing, and you shouldn't think it or do it or feel it too long. You're elevating them in a weird way, like giving them power. And when you think, you always take this from me, you're so powerful, all this stuff, we're actually kind of like putting them up on this dark pedestal, which we don't want to do. So think to them, wow, I've experienced a lot of triggers around you. You make me feel this way, but I don't want to feel this anymore. And I don't want to be angry with you. I may not want to see you ever again. So what can I do to make sure that this experience goes away? That's more powerful than putting it in the person, because you're feeding them energy. And then also you're almost casting them in that die or in that role. So they have to do it, especially children, but also partners. When you say, you always let me down, it kind of sticks in their head, right? And again, that can be your partner or a kid or anyone. You're terrible, or I hate you. Imagine being on the receiving end of that. It infuriates you and it pushes more venom out. So it's better not to say that kind of stuff. And it's better to go into yourself and kind of think, I feel this. I feel this sense of hatred, of anger, of frustration. They're not listening to me. Is it really worth this exchange anymore? I can say that I feel this way. It's actually better to say, you make me feel frustrated. That's better than saying, you're a terrible person. This hurts my feelings when you say it. Why are you doing it? That's a more constructive way to go through it. But again, if you can't reach a resolution, examine why you're staying in that, because that person's shut off. So liberation is also about ownership, and it's also about not giving power to people, especially the difficult people that we want to just put that on. It's a shared thing. So stop letting them in your life. It's harder when they're your parent or your boss, or you have a family together. I get it. But in all situations, there's a chance to diffuse it and to take the power back. And I think that's really what a lot of this month is about for you. Look beyond this moment in time. Whatever you're doing, whatever you're feeling, wherever you're at. It's not defined by here. So yesterday doesn't matter so much. Right now doesn't matter so much either. It's more like what I decide to do with right now. How I got here can inform me on like if it was effective or not. But what I decide to do in the moments that follow, that's creating tomorrow. That's creating the future. So the past is already done. The present's now. Let's try to do something with it. And then I want you to think beyond even the short-term goal. So it's more effective to think not just like 1 month, 3 months, 5 months ahead. Think a few years ahead. Think even like longer term. What's my legacy on this planet when I leave? What's this all about? So today I'm giving a push to Cancer to really find your spiritual grounding, and everything else then is going to kind of fall into place accordingly. Even those sort of situations where someone has driven you nuts for whatever reason. I mean, in my own life, I can look back and say, thank goodness I met that person. There have been people at different points that inspired me to leave, to move, to try new things. And so I'm happy now that I maybe had a disagreement that made me quit a job, or I'm happy that I had a misunderstanding that showed me someone's true colors that made me realize that that wasn't a relationship that was worth investing in. It's a good thing, because then I could redirect. And a lot of this month is about redirection for you. Okay, I hope that makes sense. Here's something that's cool. There's more visibility for you this month. And with that visibility comes opportunity, but also responsibility. So I wrote all eyes are on you. But again, it's a double-edged sword. We just talked about some of the pitfalls of communication. So communication can be nonverbal too. I'm encouraging your sign this month to show how you feel and what you want. Be a leader through demonstrative means. Walk the walk, basically. Don't just talk the talk. And sometimes people are drawn to natural leaders that are just already embodying everything because it just feels good and words fall short. And after a while, they just become they can become grating. So I think your power this month is actually tapping into your natural passion, which you have, and putting it into action. And then when you do choose to speak or engage with people, try to elevate it into the energies of hope, love, encouragement, optimism. Constructive criticism if necessary. Constructive, though. Actions are definitely more impactful than words. A lot of times they last longer. You can see something from that. This month, if you do use your words, ask and answer the tough questions. Play the role of investigator or interrogator, especially when it comes to like money and contracts and anything where you just don't know what you're getting into. So much better to not say yes, say, wait a second, I have a few questions. How about this? Or help me understand this. And I think those things are super important, just to kind of get it all out on the table like we're doing today. Put the cards on the table and figure out if it makes sense. And I've already kind of gone through this. This is really a planning period right now. And then you're going to take a lot of action, hopefully in the latter part of November. Onto the final column here of messages here. If there are interactions that are happening and they're kind of driving you a little crazy this month, one thing that my grandfather on my mom's side taught me is that you don't have to prove that you're right. There comes a point where this is again about the redirection of energy. You realize that isn't a good use of time and energy. This person's not listening. I'm spinning wheels. I feel exhausted in this conversation. So I'm going to instead focus on something else and someone else and let this go. And it feels good sometimes when you just let it go. One thing that I've seen is invariably karma has a way of working things out, but karmic justice and retribution happen on their own time and their own terms, and it's nobody's decision on how that's going to happen. Release it, let go, let the universe kind of take hold of some of these things that are driving you nuts and focus on things that matter. There's a power in remaining calm. I kind of put down Quiet Storm. I was thinking of the 90s singer Sade. She's a beautiful woman, beautiful voice, but she has this kind of quiet energy, and she's been described as that before, and that's what I was hearing in my head was her voice. And you don't have to yell to be heard, and that's what I kind of thought of when I was listening to her music in my head. And sometimes consistent, sensible, and I would say also tangible way of communicating is going to be better, because there is so much barking going on in the world right now that people are looking for something that's logical. So don't give up. You don't have to shout. You don't have to scream. You can just take a deep breath and keep making sense. And eventually that's going to break through. So for you, try to keep your cool and keep your calm, but stay passionate about it. And that the type of music that she does is soul music. The soul is out there, but you don't have to scream. There's different types of ways to express yourself. So it can be just as positive to have that quiet, passionate energy as well. Hopefully that makes sense. All right, pick your battles this month. Again, about redirection, but this is also about engagement. And one thing that I think could help if you decide to sort of, this quiet energy that I was looking at could also be about picking a moment to shine, since you have the sort of star energy that's coming through with this particular index card. So what I would say here is you have a chance to kind of make a big splash. While other people are doing all this sort of nonsensical stuff around you, you could just really be getting something finished and then say, here we go, surprise. And that's a really rewarding experience too. Because of social media, we feel like we need to document everything. Not everything needs to be put out there and for public consumption. There are some things it's better just to wait and then to share it when it's complete. So whether that's a big announcement in your life or a life change that you're doing or whatever, just get it all together and then let it go and then surprise people in a positive way. And it'll be something nice that you can focus on. So that should be your long-term goal too. What is it that I'm trying to do, to build, to create, to shift, to change? What's my legacy? All right, let's look at the cards and see what additional messages come through. Let me quickly get everything stacked up. And as I said earlier, again, welcome everybody. If this is your first time, you're in for a treat. If you're a return viewer, you're still in for a treat. We're going to look at some great stuff. Again, welcome to Ryan and Maria, my moderators. And again, if you have any high-level questions, they can answer it. Super chats are welcome, but I don't do Q&A. I forgot to say that at the beginning because I wanted to get into all of these messages. At this point, I like to remain quiet because I want to pay attention to what's coming through. I'm going to answer a question that you haven't asked before you ask it. The deck that I'm using today is this one. It's the Tarot of the Divine, and this came directly from all of you that were kind enough to give me contributions through Super Chat. So thanks, guys. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for giving me a moment here to get everything set up. And let's take a look at what's coming through. We're going to start with your catalyst card. And the card's reversed, but I want to turn it upright so we can read it together. The card is a trader. It says, exchange energy to celebrate abundance. This is, as I'm looking at this, what I'm getting is that this is a chance to make sure that the exchange is even and that it's a fair exchange in your life. So if you have someone that tends to take and take and take but not give back, this card is saying it's time to make sure that that gets evened out. So maybe there's a conversation that you have about that and saying, I really need you to help out right now with this. And the other thing is, if you're doing something in your life and you feel like the compensation or the trade-off is not worth it, this is about you standing up for yourself and suggesting a different level of exchange. So literally asking for a raise if you think you need one, or looking for a different job or a better paying job. Again, we're in an economy right now where this is challenging sometimes. So you could also be deciding to set yourself up for success in the future when the economy starts to turn around. Whatever it is, the trader card is basically also showing you that you should take pride in what you do. That same teacher that was telling me about how I was calling in people in my life, whether I like them or not, she reminded me also that if I was doing something that I didn't like, because I was in a job at the time that wasn't really rewarding, this was a while ago, but she basically said, you still have to do a good job. You made a contract with them. And she's right. Like, they pay me money and I came to work and I had to do a good job. So it changed my attitude. And I actually noticed some really positive changes at the workplace where new opportunities opened up. I was able to go to a different part of the company, and her advice kind of helped me with that. I thought, wow, if I just change how I show up, people noticed there was a change in attitude. And then I was able to find something new, even within a space where I wasn't sure if I could stay. So it's amazing how that joy and that passion, like the thing that she told me that stuck with me, she said, everything that you do, that's sort of the sum of you. So when you leave this planet, do you want people remembering you for someone like that just did half of what they should have done, or like 110%? So I just always decided from that point forward that I will always give the maximum, which is how I do these readings, which is how I do everything. I try to give 100% or more. So you notice big changes and really positive shifts when you start doing that, even if you don't like what you're doing. Try to do your best, try to get out of it, try to find something else, but you're going to have a good reputation that leaves that's sort of left behind. And then, of course, in the Akashic record, the Sky Library, all of this stuff is recorded. So we want to live in an accountable way because there's cosmic bookkeeping going on up there. So work hard, work consistently, be honest, things will work out in the long run, even if right now it's not where you want it. There you go. Okay, so that's the trader card. That's basically about the exchange. Make sure you're giving a fair exchange, make sure you're receiving a fair exchange. And if it isn't fair and if that person won't work with you, it's time to move on. Even in relationships, that's especially true in a relationship if someone takes but doesn't give back. It's like a bank. So the Bank of Nicholas only has so much currency. At a certain point, it needs to close. So same thing, like if someone's taking too much, you have to figure out like enough is enough. All right, so we have the Knight of Coins in reverse. And this is about focusing on your personal development. Whenever I see a reversed coin or pentacle card in the, especially like a court card, I tend to not look at it overly negative unless we get to the king. I think when it's a knight here, so the Knight of Pentacles here, Knight of Coins, it's, I might have said page, but I meant knight. With the Knight of Pentacles, what we're looking at here is a chance to move things forward. So I feel like some of you have gotten to a place in your life where you already kind of know what it is that you want to do. Knights are action cards. Pages, think about it, they interpret, they listen, they talk. Knights move it forward. So if there's something that you need or want to do for development in your life at any stage, so whether it's school or work or retirement, you're still doing something, there's something that's calling to you that requires you to sort of like type something, pick up the phone, somehow pull the sort of cosmic trigger to get it moving forward. Do it. You're being led there on a soul level because we have the High Priestess card right on top of that. So this is about personal growth and development. And it's about taking the necessary action or creating the necessary action to bring it into fruition. This one is about really, not only is this going to be positive, but I feel like this is your soul's path. You're being drawn there. High Priestess is something that you know you should do. So lean into whatever that is. Also, psychic development is off the charts as we look at both October and November, and especially because of the thin veil there right between the 2 months. So it's appropriate that you guys are tuning in a little bit beforehand so you can take advantage of that. That particular point in time, around the 31st, the 1st, the 2nd, you may be able to make some powerful changes and shifts, especially since this is right at the center here. So be cognizant of that and be open to that. 10 of Cups. I love the 10 of Cups, but yesterday's reading, I think it was either the 10 of Cups or the 10 of Pentacles. I think it was the 10 of Cups in reverse, also in the same position. So what I like about 10 of Cups is relationship energy is at your disposal. There's a lot of people around you that care about you. But with the reversal of this, a lot of times they need and want things from you. There are strings attached. And it's important for you to feel that you're getting also the love and support, that they're not always the receiving parties here. And that goes back to sort of the trader card that we were looking at. Is the exchange even? We have a celebration here, but again, with the card reversed, much as I was seeing for the reading yesterday, there could be some sort of a connection that's being forced. So this could be a setup, by the way. The 10 of Cups in reverse can be friends and family saying, we see the setup right there at the middle. Sometimes it feels good, sometimes it doesn't. You should honor how you feel. And if you're not connecting with that person, or if you were referred for like a job or whatever this is, sometimes people think, oh, because of this, you'll like this. That's not always the case. So honor that. There's nothing wrong with it. The sooner you're honest about that, the better. You don't want to go 2 or 3 dates into this and still feel that. For the rest of you, this could just be family that is taking advantage of you, and you need to have firmer boundaries. So if you have those boundary issues this month, you can't do everything for everyone. Pick and choose who you can help the most, and the rest of the people, buy yourself some time or just simply say no. Yesterday, we had the Six of Pentacles. I'm doing a quick scan. I don't think I saw it here. So it's okay. It's an implicit piece of this one, or I would say you could infer that it exists here. So I think that the answer to this is just to figure out, like, I can't give you all of that now. I can give you a little bit of that. And then also ask for what you need to. Anyway, there's a lot of people energy around you right now. The important thing for you is to not lose yourself in that, either in trying to make them happy or in just being of service too much, okay? So for people that are in healthcare, teachers, counselors, even doing what I'm doing, you have to kind of have those limits so that you are okay. All right, we have the Six of Cups here. Gosh, there's a lot of love cards around you. We'll talk about this when we get more specifically into love. So Six of Cups can also mean children in your life. So if you're a father or a mother, or if you have children that you are somehow responsible for, this card was also reversed, which means there's going to be a lot of energy coming from the kids. They're going to need your time and attention. And it makes sense. Here in the States, it's back to school time. And I'm sure in a lot of parts of the world, children are going back to school, but trying to figure out what that means. Is it virtual? Is it half days? It's a little scary probably for kids to navigate right now. So for the youth in your life, be of as much support as you can. That's probably an area where it makes sense to give a little bit more. And then maybe some of the older people in your life that are annoying but can take care of themselves, focus less on them, more on the kids that really need the support and the guidance. Now, if you have an elderly parent, they may also fall into this category. Six of Cups is both young and old. It's the two ends of the spectrum. I would say those are the areas where your focus can be stronger. And with other elements of your family, you can kind of like decide to give and take a little bit. The 10 of Cups and the 6 of Cups smack dab together, plus the 8 of Cups in the environment. That's old love. That's an old friendship, an old relationship, a soulmate for sure. When I see that kind of energy, all that's missing is the star, but that's enough of a connection for me to see that there's a deep connection. So many of you will be dealing with second chances. So maybe there's someone who, I talked about that strong feeling of like love and hate. They're very close, actually. It's a thin line. So there's a song, Thin Line Between Love and Hate, and it's true. So what I want you to do is to look at these relationships from the past and think, can I heal them? If someone comes back into your life, are you attracted to them because it's the one love that you've been looking for, because there's something to be healed and to be released? Try to get into the karmic energy of it and heal it and clear it and clean it, and then see if it still makes sense. Because after that, you have free will. Once the karma has been released, then you're just creating new karma, and it can be positive karma. So there are definitely, either for some of you, it could come in the way of just being nostalgic and thinking of the past, or you may have someone pop into your life or give you a call out of the blue with the 10 of Cups, the 6 of Cups, the 8 of Cups. And it's a chance to do better. That's the main message that I see. So do better this time and see if it feels better. If you're looking for love, it could be a soulmate energy that's coming into your life. It's an interesting time for that to come through because of, as I said, a very thin veil at the beginning of November, the retrograde from October spilling into November, and also just the fact that we're wrapping up a year, but we'll look at it when we go into love in a second. Perspective is ever so important. Your crowning card, which is kind of where your head's at this month, is the 5 of Cups. You can focus on things that are driving you crazy, or things that are there that can be affected and that you can shift in a positive direction. There's no right or wrong way to kind of face the 5 of Cups. I would say the one thing that I would encourage you to do is, it is good to have a good cry. It is good to have a good laugh. Get the energy out. Cancer, you have to experience what you're experiencing. Otherwise, you'll go crazy. So find a way to express yourself. If you need to cry, if you need to laugh, if you need to do something artistic, if you need to talk to a therapist, kind of exorcise that energy so that you can find your calm. And I think that's super important, especially for your sign. It's not as bad as you think. The 9 of Swords is typically overreaction. It can be that feeling of going to a worst case scenario. The reason I'm saying it's not as bad as you think, the card's reversed. It will get better. This is why I said expect a positive outcome. I almost wanted to write the word miracle, but I didn't want to overshoot. I want to just say expect that things are going to work out. Because notice that really she's a lot like the High Priestess here. she can create whatever she wants. And it's actually kind of a beautiful energy here. So we see people stressing out, but you can be the calm in the storm. Just let it all go. Focus on your sleep habits this month. I know that I've been working a lot. I'm working on getting a project done, and it takes extra time. So sometimes I'm doing 6 or 7 days in a row that I'm working. So that requires me going to sleep a lot earlier in order to have the energy to make that happen. So even if you're laying in bed and thinking, I'm not really sleeping, you can listen to music, you can meditate. Chances are you can get to sleep if you just kind of stop focusing on that. But if you have problems with insomnia, please talk to your doctor. A lot of times it can be diet, it might be stress. There's a lot of things that they can work out with you. Sleep habits seem to be a focal point here. And then also not going down that rabbit hole of thinking, oh my goodness, this is never going to get better. How am I going to deal with that? You'll be okay. Ask for help and take a deep breath. And remember, try to be that sort of quiet energy, and that's going to help you out. We have the Two of Pentacles, which has come up a few times this month, which is a balance card. We actually notice in this one that, again, we're looking at families. So we have the mom and the kid here. So for some of you, it could also be balancing something you really care about, because whenever I think of maternal energy, it could be something that you just really want to do, but you can't because of any number of distractions in your life. So finding the balance and finding the time, I think, is what's most important. So when I look at this Two of Pentacles, I think it's about time management and time allocation. If you're getting underpaid, however, this card is reminding you that it's time to fight for equity, equal pay. Easier said than done. Unfortunately, here in the United States, and I think in a large part of the Western world, in the world in general, women are still fighting that fight. Minorities are still fighting that fight. And there's no reason that people shouldn't be treated equally here. So keep moving the needle forward. And if someone at a certain job won't recognize you, go find someone that will, because you're worth it. I'm telling you, you're worth it. And you need more resources in your life to do what you care about. It may not happen overnight. Maybe you want to fight the fight. Maybe you want to take this to HR or litigate. Just remember, fight the fights that matter and fight the ones that you can change, because picking and choosing those battles are important. But I think there are points where we can't be quiet. We have to make that shift. Whatever it is for you, whether it's just deciding I want to do more of this and less of this, or I need more money, or I'm not getting paid correctly, something's off a little bit with that balance of resource and exchange. And it came through 2 times and both times reversed. So it's about finding the balance that you need, okay? 8 of Cups. I love that it's in your environment. So for this, especially with the High Priestess at the center, this is the manifestation energy that you have to make or to break things, particularly cycles in this particular card. So there's always a chance to do better. There's always a chance to heal. You can create something positive in your life during this period of time right now. So lean into that possibility. And if there are things you're really sick of, this is the time to let them go. It could be a person. It could be something like drinking or smoking. It could be financial habits, whatever. Whatever you're trying to reset, I love this card. It means that it's never like it's a different version of justice or death, because what it means is you didn't mess it up, and you get a second chance, and you can figure it out, and you can actually have a happy ending. So write yourself the happy ending that you deserve, whatever that means. It may not be specifically like everything gets okay with that person, but you might realize that wasn't the person. Someone better is coming along. That wasn't the job. This is actually my path. I didn't fail. I just learned something. There's some sort of integration that comes through where you can leave November feeling happier and feeling like I didn't lose something. I just gained it in a subtle way. Hopes and fears. Don't you wish sometimes we could have that many arms to do things? I would be be so much easier with tarot cards. I could be holding up 4 or 5 at the same time. Anyway, with Temperance, try not to overdo it. That's what I'm seeing here. We don't have that ability to kind of like put our mind in different directions and do all these different things. One thing at a time. When you multitask, make sure that the things that you're doing together are kind of like complementary and they're not distracting. I talk a lot of times with the Magician card. You can do everything. It doesn't mean you should. Same thing with 7 of Wands. This particular Temperance card had the same thing. But she's also saying you'll figure out a way to get it done. It just may not be in the way that you expect it, okay? I love your final card. Love, love, love. We have a mermaid here for the Fool. And I actually think this deck is about, it's sort of like fairy tales and things, and also just stories. I actually think this is the Little Mermaid that they reimagined. So with the Fool, it's time to embark on a new journey and go after your dream. And if we take in sort of like the Little Mermaid's journey, there was this sort of like disillusionment and then realization of, I talked yesterday about family and belonging is some of what I see in this Fool card. Sometimes, she's looking at the castle, she's looking at the human world and wondering like, is that better? Or, so I want you to kind of look at where you're at and realize that sometimes the grass seems greener, but it's just as complicated when you go to that other side. And I feel like that's some of the energy here with the Fool. And likewise, sometimes we feel too attached to a current situation because we feel like this has been safe. Feels good. I'm afraid of change. So the Fool is saying, make the change because you feel ready, not because you're looking at someone else comparing and thinking like, well, I want that. And I feel like maybe that's better. Do it because you feel like that's where you want to be headed, not because you're comparing yourself and feeling better or worse than. And also don't underestimate your current experience. Just sort of like make the change because it's free and easy. The Fool card feels good. It doesn't take a lot of thought. So something about what's going on, it's the Nine of Swords coming through. You're overthinking or overstressing, and it's time for release. So November will hopefully let you release that connection and that cycle that we're seeing with these two cards, okay? Let me take a quick drink here, and then we're gonna move along to health, wealth, love, and destiny. As we look at your health card, which is reversed, we have stepping into power. It says you are strong beyond measure. I want to hold it upright so you can see the illustration. Reminds me a lot of the Hermit. When I'm looking at that particular illustration, we see a hooded figure carrying a lantern. So that's definitely Hermit energy. We see people following him. And I mentioned that you have a lot of visibility, a lot of eyes on you this month. Maybe the secret here is that you just don't understand that yourself. Other people can see it. So there's leadership opportunities that are coming forth for you. You just need to step into them this month. Now, this is a strength card as well because it's strong beyond measure, and we're looking at health. So there are a couple ways that we can look at it. The first one is that you can handle a lot of things in your life. You may not realize it, but you can. So there are leadership opportunities, which are going to help you in wealth and in other areas. We're also looking at physical strength because of the position of this in the spread. And I would say, even though you're strong, I want you to focus on well-being, not making, like if you're going to, you can burn the candle occasionally, but you can't burn it forever at both ends. So making sure you're getting that sleep and not getting physically exhausted is going to be important. And when we connect all of these together, the Trader card, the Nine of Swords, and the Strength card, again, just because you can doesn't mean you should have to carry the load like Atlas. So even things out a little bit with this, speak up and know that if you have to make a change for your health or well-being, you can do it. And people are just waiting for you to take that step. It's only when you're ready that the change really happens too. That's why people that are trying to recover a lot of times from addiction in particular, if that addict isn't ready, then it's not going to work. It's not going to stick. So you don't have to be an addict, though, for that to hold true. Anytime you want to make a change or make a new cycle or see results, you have to want it. You have to be ready. So focus on getting there this month. And once you get there, then some good stuff will happen for you. Looking specifically at the cards here to see if there's anything else that I missed. I talked a little bit about sleep. Your diet, exercise, and sort of the consistency of that sleep schedule are just as important as like where you're sleeping and how good the bed or the pillows are. But take a look at all of those things. I think they're important. For exercise, swimming or walking are great. They're low impact. So we get a little bit of both with the Little Mermaid because being in water, very good if you're trying to recover from an injury, and just gentle walking, not even a rapid clip, but just a nice slow pace like we would traditionally see with the Fool card. That's also good. Just watch where you're walking. Whenever the Fool card comes through, there's a chance to trip or to sprain your ankle or something like that because a traditional illustration, he's falling over a cliff. So watch where you're going, put your phone in your pocket, keep your eyes open and paying attention. This isn't a time to have a book or a phone or something else. You want to pay attention to where you're at. Those are the main messages for health. All right, looking at wealth. It's interesting with this. First of all, I was talking about loving what you're doing. Very important when it comes to being successful. Your passion, your authenticity, it's what attracts people to you. And we actually see a combination of the heart and the voice in this particular card, like the blue energy of your throat chakra and the green of your heart, a little bit from the power from your solar plexus. It's all coming together nicely in this card. But we've got love in a work area, and I've got like the 10 of cups and the 6 of cups. So I wouldn't be surprised if some of you meet someone based on like a work or some sort of an obligation that you have to go and do. Like there's some sort of a connection that could come through in a really positive way, whether it's a friendship or a partnership. It could come through unexpected organic means like that. So that's a way you could meet someone. You might have to also deal with the stress and the pressure of dating a coworker or somebody that maybe policy dictates that you shouldn't. Love abounds is a great message. So I'm not looking at anything really negative there. Love who you are, love what you're doing, use that passion to be successful. Those are the key messages there. I would love to see more abundance cards. We do have the Knight of Pentacles at the center though, so that still portends good things. He's reversed though, so there's a sense of needing to somehow let other people see your value this month. And I think that's part of it through the Trader card and the reversed Knight of Pentacles. Just kind of imparting that value on others is a big piece of that. What an interesting card here to come through in relationships. We have 3 to 1. Some of you may be feeling teamed up on. That's what we were seeing with the 10 of Cups here, reversed. Both of these are reversed. So what I'm seeing this is sometimes it's like it's almost like a stacked room where people have already made their mind up on something, and you're just as valuable to them, and you're just as valuable, I should say, as them. So if there's this sort of clique or a room or a family and there's pressure, peer pressure, societal pressure, I want you to hold your own and do what's best for you. Stay strong is basically what I'm seeing with this in relationships. And don't let people team up on you if they are doing that. Okay? That's kind of the energy that I get there. There's also a chance for a small partnership to kind of open up, a group of 2 or 3 people. This could also be interesting in a relationship. Some of you might be, trying to decide between partners, or there may be an open relationship. But what I see is the pressure of the group impacting you, or the pressure of a choice, maybe between a couple of partners also weighing heavily on you. So if you have a feeling of what's right, follow that. And if you don't, spend some time and don't be forced into a decision too quickly. All right. Finally, and this was what I was kind of talking about way at the beginning, kind of like in the middle of my index cards when we were talking, it's the return of spirit. And it's almost shaped like a heart here, but this is really about you finding you finding your energy, you figuring out what you're supposed to be doing, and getting your second, it's like when you're running, sometimes you get that second wind, right? And you're able to see something through to completion, to fruition. I feel like November is going to give you that second breath, that second wind, and you're going to be able to move forward. There's some integration work that has to be done, as we saw in the cards here. But with the Fool in the end, that shows me the new beginnings. That's the new page that I was also talking about with all of the channeled messages at the beginning. Let's go ahead and review everything. We'll get a little deeper, and we'll see if I can help you get into that return of spirit energy in the soul path. So let me get all the cards here set up, and we'll take a look at everything. Okay, so as I said earlier, if you're super positive, you could even change this to expect miracles. But if you want to just sort of take a half step there, expect a positive outcome. This is ever so important, especially if you're in the energy of the 9 of Swords, because it can feel overwhelming and it can feel like it just compounds. So you're going to diffuse it a little bit with this sense of, we can work it out. We're going to figure a way to make this work. Use hope and encouragement, not only to help change things, but also to engage people around you. They're alchemic energies, and they can reshape something, even if it's misshapen or if it's not going in the right direction. If a chapter in your life is coming to a close, then embrace it. And who knows what's coming next? We've got this beautiful mermaid fool up here reminding us it's just time to try something new. And also write a new page in your journey. It's only over if you lack imagination or hope. So keep on dreaming, keep on hoping, keep on working forward. There are no coincidences. There are choices, there are experiences, there are lessons. Nothing's happening by accident. You called this moment into being, and you can also dismiss it if you don't like it. Release and integrate the lesson that's part of whatever you're going through if you don't like it. And then this will lead you to liberation. Then, of course, opportunity also will follow that. Look beyond the present moment, the present experience, figure out what's next. Keep that as your sort of candle in the wind, or like this little lantern that's leading you in the hermit type energy here. There's increased visibility this month. That's a good thing because it means that you can stand out. If there's things that are not working when it comes to having enough resources, you can speak up and people will notice that you've been doing a good job. But there's also responsibility with that. So you've got to walk the walk. There's a little more scrutiny. Basically be the leader that you want to have in your own life. Show others how to be, how to lead. And those actions are going to speak more impressively, maybe even more powerfully than words would. When you do need to speak up critically, be constructive, and don't be afraid to kind of play the role of investigator or interrogator and get the tough answers to the questions that you have. Sorry, there's one more. Use retrograde as a period of planning, and that sort of information that you gather during the Inquisition can help you out a bit as well. Realize that there are certain people with whom you can't win an argument. You don't have to prove that you're right. Redirect your energy. Focus on something that's more fulfilling, that's more reciprocated. There's power also in remaining calm. That other person could blow up and it's just going to show their true colors. Be that quiet storm, remembering that sometimes a soft voice is memorable too. As we said, pick your battles. It's really about engagement, and use the element of surprise this month to make a splash. As you're deciding not to kind of get into the sort of petty stuff, you can focus instead on finishing something that matters for you, whether it's going to school, launching a project, or just doing something really cool in your own life. It's not always about other people, it's about you. We have the trader card in reverse. Again, exchange of energy has to be balanced out this month. You can find a way to do it, but somehow there needs to be an even exchange. Your key energy card is reversed. That usually means that you want to invest in yourself, and that also your battery is maybe at 50%. You need to charge it up a little bit. I'm not talking about your phone. I'm talking about spiritual energy or your health. You need to take care of yourself. Listen to your intuition. High Priestess energy coming through to kind of guide you on that path. We have a moon above this too, so there's a lot of moons coming through here. So there could be like one lunar cycle. November is kind of challenging you to be patient and to allow things to kind of play out. 10 of Cups, good energy, but when reversed, it can be pressure from community, family, and friends. Don't give in to peer pressure. We saw that peer pressure here as well. So it's important for you not to lose yourself. If it feels good, great. And if people don't agree with it, that's an entirely different side of the coin. Maybe you want to be single and your family's forcing you to get married. Maybe you want to marry someone that they don't like. Maybe there's some sort of a clique in your life and you just don't want to be a part of it. Whatever that pressure is from the group, it doesn't matter. That's them trying to force you into something that they want, and it's not right. Parents and children take a primary focus with the 6 of Cups. We have soulmate energy with 10 of Cups, 6 of Cups, 8 of Cups. There's a chance to do better this time around. 5 of Cups, perspective matters the most. Choose to focus on what you can have the greatest impact on this month. 9 of Swords, it's not as bad as you think. Get the sleep that you need. Be the calm that we see here. She's actually not freaked out. If you notice, people around her are freaked out. She's not reacting negatively to that stress. She's like, no, I'm above it. I'm not going to get into that. It's not my problem. Not today, is what this 9 of Swords is saying. 2 of Cups, again, definitely a lot of focus on work-life balance, particularly, I think, with family. Those of you that are caring for someone younger or older, this is a time to focus on that. Make time for them. 8 of Cups, second chances, and again, doing better. With this as well, we could kind of tie the 8 of Cups to the 2 of Pentacles and say that this month you're really focusing on trying to find balance in your money and your exchanges. So Be that as it may, I feel like you can do it. It's just up to you to figure out what's important. Temperance, easy does it. We are not this wonderful demigoddess here that can do 15 things at once with all our hands and arms. So focus on, again, what matters and what you can affect. You don't have to do everything for everyone or be everything for everyone. And the Fool card is beautiful. It's the only deck that has a mermaid as the Fool, which I really like. So what I like about this is you can kind of weather any storm, and I like the energy of the water being a little bit more fluid and carrying you to your destination. One thing that is kind of cool about the Little Mermaid story is she kind of had that impossible wish and it came true. So I want you again to not give up on your dream, not give up on your wishes. But remember, she gave away something really important in the process. So make sure that the trade-off is worth it. And that's kind of, don't make a fool's bargain, right? It's a kind of, I guess I understand why they put the Little Mermaid on this one. So yeah, don't make a fool's bargain, but don't be afraid of new chapters and risks in your life. It's a good thing. All right. With health, you have the power to do a lot. Doesn't mean you need to do everything for everyone. Don't underestimate your power. There's a little element of surprise here that's coming through again, and that's touching your work card. There's a little bit of overlap between your health, your wealth, and your love cards here, which is interesting. So I think if we were just to kind of read these together to help in those different areas. For health, stand up for what matters. Don't do everything for everyone. For wealth, love what you're doing, but know that that love may actually attract love in your life, which could complicate things a little bit. For love, you're going to have to factor in group opinion or peer pressure and figure out how you can stay strong and not lose yourself. Ultimately, everything this month is trying to bring you back into your strength, into your power, into your joy, into your heart, because we have a couple of hearts here that are coming through. All right, let's focus on the soul journey ahead. I need more to drink. All right, I want to look at the cycles first. We have the 10 of Cups, the 6 of Cups, and the 8 of Cups. So we're going to look at the karmic relationship and see if there is some sort of a message coming through for that karmic relationship that you need to know about. We have the 9 of Cups. Love it. Okay, so with the 9 of Cups, this is a card about not kind of like overdoing it, but it is a positivity card. The card is upright. Nice welcome change because we had a few reversals. So with the 9 of Cups in the upright position, positivity attracts more positivity. High frequency attracts high frequency, like attracts like. And we do see love and joy in this. I feel like this is a good time for many of you to focus either on loving yourself and coming to terms with who you are, like even if it's not what your family expected or what you expected, you are divinely crafted. I saw in one of my past life flashbacks, actually between lives, I was working with guides, programming my experience in the subsequent life. There were 2 or 3 guides with me, and it's almost like we were deciding, like we were painting and creating this future. So know that you've created this as well, who you are, how you look, all of the things that you love and don't love about yourself. If you can love yourself, others will love you as well. It's time to be happy. I think ultimately the 9 of Cups is about happiness and joy. I want you to have that experience of more joy in your life. So decide that this is the time to be happy. And if you're not, do what you need to do to be happy. And if there's something that really makes you happy and you let it go, even if it's just a passion in your life, it doesn't have to be a person. This is the time to rekindle that flame, okay? All right, let's take a look at perspective, 5 of Cups, and stress management, 9 of Swords, because they kind of go hand in hand, and temperance. So how can you deal with all this stuff that's going on right here? So we'll be looking at present influences and how to keep your cool. We have the Hierophant, making and keeping your promises. I talked a little bit yesterday about this in my reading. And what I would like to say with this is, Hierophant is a very kind of corporate card. It's not so here. We can actually see sort of the spiritual side, the shamanistic side of Hierophant. Sometimes it's the high priest, so I like what I'm seeing here. So what if you were creating this sense of, it's almost like ritual in what you're doing. So if you're an artist, the act of creating is divine. Even if you're an accountant, going into numbers and finding, and scientists for that matter, when you're going into data and looking at how all of the data work together, there's this sort of magic because you're making sense of something. You're seeing a cosmic design. So whether it's art, science, math, anything, there's beauty and ritual in it. And if you can find that sort of energy that you feel like you're creating something powerful, then this ritual becomes something that you look forward to doing every day. Create a ritual that you like. So maybe in the morning, this could be exercise or yoga. Maybe, like I said, it's writing or art. Maybe it's something different. It's learning, exploring. Everybody's ritual is going to be a little bit different, but the Hierophant sticks with it. It's very much a creature of habit whenever I see that kind of card. I love that we see a woman on the Hierophant for a change, which is great. So yes, we all have that divine capability to create something beautiful and really put our time and energy into it. So if you don't have it, create it. If you do have it, put more sort of this power of, that's all I can sort of say. It's like ritual and sort of prayer as well, because that's what I kind of get with the Hierophant. Usually we would see a pope on it, but we see the shaman here. So there is more mystical energy going through it than typically illustrated. So I like that. All right. So find something that moves you and keep doing it. And that's going to move you forward in your own life. Okay. I saw the comment about the difference in The Little Mermaid. Yeah, take it how you want. I already said, like, write a new chapter in your life. So that holds true as well. The Fool is really just about assessing risk. And even in the Disney one, she made a fool's bargain. And she was lucky in that one. And I agree, in a normal situation, it may not work out that way. So just be smart. I said earlier, kind of like to scrutinize things and ask questions. I think when it comes to contracts, especially during retrograde, pre and post shadow, you want to make sure that you have all the information. All right, let's take a look at balance overall. And I want to look now at Trader, Knight of Coins, and the balance cards, because I feel like these are going to be necessary to bring you into a positive future state. So a second to shuffle. All right, we have the Three of Wands. I love this Three of Wands because it's really showing us of the possibility to the Three of Wands is so passive in Rider-Waite-Smith. I believe that, like I said before when I saw this, you can take a step towards your dream. Don't wait for it. And so if there's something that you want to be done, to be created, and the establishment doesn't have it, make it happen. So sometimes it takes the world time to catch up to good ideas. The Three of Wands here is showing us there's a good idea, but you're going to probably have to go after it yourself a little bit. So I was joking, I think the last time, about going to the dock to meet the boats. You could even take your boat and meet the boats. Like, I feel like, why are we wasting time? If you know what you want to get done, like, why are you waiting? This is really a card of pushing you forward a little bit. Three of Wands is saying it's a good idea. I sometimes disagree with the Rider-Waite-Smith illustration that I have to sit up on a hill and wait for the ships to come to me. The powerful part of that is that I'm an attractive force, and maybe there's an ease now. This is saying there's a little bit of work. So a traditional Rider-Waite-Smith Three of Wands would say, you got this, it's coming, don't worry. I would say, you've got this, don't worry, but don't waste time waiting either. We're in a part of the world right now, or I should say in time right now, where you can't afford to wait. Look at what 2020 showed us. Look at how different January is from November or October, and what a difference it would have made to maybe do something in January or May or September. Like, very different things. If there's something that's important and you need to do it, you need to do it. And time is operating in a different frequency right now. And so if that means taking a few steps forward to make sure it gets done, it's okay. The timelines have shifted. And this is we're kind of, I've said this before, but I also want to repeat this. I feel like we're in a time traveling movie, but you can't really go back into the old time threads. Even if you watch like Back to the Future, at the end, it wasn't all exactly the same. I haven't seen it in a long time, but I remember him coming back and there was, I mean, of course, the family, everything was better, but life changes. When you go back and touch things in the timeline, you can't go back. So the old is gone. We're still going through the changes. And when we come back to whatever the new normal is, it's still going to be very different. So all the old rules have been thrown out. If you find a way to do something and it is against the sort of traditional trajectory, who cares? Go for it, okay? Take a step in that direction. So one more time, and then we got to meditate. I'm looking at the time. 9 of Cups, you deserve to be happy. Do what you need to do to find that happiness. Create a ritual which you love and enjoy, and keep that ritual. When I say ritual, it's just something that you do every day that brings joy in your life. Yoga, art, education, reading, whatever. And then don't wait for the ships to come to you. Navigate towards that destination yourself. Meet the ships. Be the conductor. You don't have to do this all yourself, or I guess you'd be the captain, whatever. You get the point. Find your way, because I feel like you can get there faster. That's the message. You don't have to wait as long as you think you have to wait. And that's the illusion, I think, of like what we came through with the 20th century, that everything has to be slower and longer. Like, no, we're kind of picking up the pace right now, and changes are happening at a much more rapid clip. All right. Let's go ahead and move into the meditation. If you haven't already clicked like and subscribe, I'd love for you to do that. That way you'll know when new videos come out. I know that you must get sick of all YouTubers asking that, but it really does make a difference with the algorithm. So you can yell at YouTube, not the creators. We just have to work with it. At this point, I'm going to do a guided meditation, and we're actually going to go out and see your ships coming in, and we'll maybe meet the mermaid, or we'll do something like that. But after this, we'll do a sound bath as well. And I'm going to really try to open you up to abundance, opportunity, and love, because I saw all of those elements coming through. So get comfortably seated. If you're listening on headphones, turn it down just a notch, because when we go into the guided meditation, it can get louder with the singing bowl here. Otherwise, close your eyes. Imagine that you're looking out at the ocean. It's morning, so you can see beautiful shades of orange and yellow and red painting the sky, but you still see some of the stars and the moon above you as well. And as you take a deep breath, you can smell the salt water coming into your lungs. You even feel a cool mist as the waves are cresting on the shore. Inhale. Allow this to clear your energy, to take away anything that you don't need, and go ahead on the exhale and send it into the earth beneath you, the water in front of you. Let's imagine that you're actually on the pier. You're not up on the hill, like I said. You can see what it is that you're trying to create, what you're trying to experience coming into your mind's eye, and you also see it in front of you in whatever form you'd like. You can see ships coming in if you would like. I would like you in this moment to understand now that you have, as we saw today, more power than you might give yourself credit for. And I want you to think about moments in your life where you haven't been given equal treatment, equal pay, or equal opportunity. And look back at those experiences now and dismiss them and say, I'm really ready at this point to stand strong, to be respected. And I want to be on that castle on the hill that we saw in this card. So we're gonna take our ship and go to that castle on the hill. And I want you to imagine right now that you are navigating towards this destination. The castle can represent anything in your life. It could be a relationship. It could be a goal that you're trying to accomplish. It could just be a sense of empowerment. As you're taking this journey and you look over your shoulder, you see the pressure that we were seeing in the sort of group energy, whether it's family, community, just other influences like prejudice, all of that stuff, it's behind you. And you start to feel lighter and brighter with each sort of nautical mile that you're taking. And there's this sense for the first time in a while that your own hope, your own energy, your own vision, it's kind of the wind in your sails. It's pushing you faster towards that destination. And you also realize, because we don't need any more ships. This is your ship. You're the leader right now. So if you want to see ships, they're following you because you know where you're going and you know how to get there. As you put your anchor down, get out of the ship, and walk to your castle, I want you to imagine, as I'm playing the singing bowl, what it feels like to hold court in your dream, in your future. So whether that's to be partnered with someone, whether that's to be running a business, whether that's to be overcoming something, see yourself as reigning triumphant. So you can be a queen or a king on that throne of success, but you're also this creator, this energy. So it's the Emperor, Empress energy that we're bringing through. And I want you to do something positive with that and feel that sense of divinity coming through you as we play the singing bowl here. So have a seat on your throne, put on that crown of success, feel that energy, and know that you're going to catch up to this. And as we're meditating, you're starting to absorb the energy of success and accomplishment. Take a deep breath, let it go. In this moment, I want you to celebrate understanding a few things. First of all, if you've ever been on a journey where you feel like, I can't do it, it won't happen. Why am I doing this? How can I make it work out? I want you to realize that it is something that's within your reach, that sometimes this sort of all the hiccups that we experience along the way, they build context, they build character. They're going to make you stronger, more capable, and more successful in the future when you deal with that eventual success. So success is your end goal, abundance in all forms, in love and prosperity and opportunity. And as I saw in the index cards and the channeled messages, you're going to lead by example. You can show a better way because we need good leaders right now. Whether you're young or old, it doesn't matter. Show up somehow in your life, in your community, and be that sense of strength and leadership that we so desperately need right now. And know that, as I said earlier, all eyes are on you and you have a lot of potential. So I believe in you. I look forward to seeing what you bring forth with this newfound leadership and divine energy. Take a deep breath and embody that. Rub your hands together, feeling that warmth, that heat, that light that you always have. Put your left hand on your heart, your right hand on top of that. Make a promise to yourself that you're going to work towards this goal, work towards this destination, and open your eyes. Welcome back, everybody. Hopefully you enjoyed today's meditation and today's reading. It's always an honor to be able to bring messages forth for you and to make it a good month. I really believe that we have that choice to kind of make something powerful and positive. So thank you. Before we wrap up here, I just want to do a little bit of housekeeping here and say thank you. As I said earlier, if you were kind enough to give a super chat, then I will pin a comment a little bit later today and say thank you and put your name in that comment. Like I said during the readings, I can't really say anything because I'm focusing on trying to channel the messages, but I appreciate it. And the deck that you saw today was definitely part of that love and support that you guys give me. If you happen to watch this on replay, there's an option to give back now. You can click the applaud button. It's a little heart and it's right by the thumb up and thumb down button. And so feel free to use that if you would like. and there are different options there. Otherwise, I'd love for you to join me on social media. So in case you can't remember my handles or how to type my name and all of that, because I know it's not the easiest to remember, nicholasashbaugh.com is my website, but you can get there by going to my profile and clicking the About tab. So if you're watching this video, you can get to my profile by clicking my picture, and then you can go to the About tab, and all of these links will be there. So don't worry if you can't remember it. These are my official social media accounts. Everything is my name except Twitter, which is first initial last name, but everything else is Nicholas Ashbaugh. So on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube, I use stories to remind you of upcoming videos. It's helpful for me and it's helpful for you, so you'll know what I'm reading that day. And in the top two, you'll be able to click a link to go directly there that day. So it's super helpful. So feel free to follow me there if you'd like. Of course, please subscribe and like here to YouTube. As I said, those little things help the channel a lot. Channel growth has been slower this year, but hopefully you guys are enjoying what I'm doing. So if you do, show me that you do. You can also join me on TikTok. More to come on that. I have a Q&A that I'm going to be doing in about a month, and channel members and Patreon members will get like a first chance to sort of ask some of those questions. I may take some of those Q&A pieces and put them there as well, but more to come on that. You can also join me on Patreon. Like I said, that's another way to give back. All the folks that have green text and the special emojis, those are some of the perks of that. Again, it's just a way to give back on a continual basis without having to worry about it, and I thank you. So whether it's a one-time contribution or you're a continuing sort of patron like that, much love and light. Twitter is @Ashbaugh. I will actually break down all these messages as individual tweets. I know I'm crazy. And then I also tweet out a reminder of what's coming through. It's a lot of work, but hopefully you guys enjoy it. You can join me on Twitter if you like to. And finally, PayPal is paypal.me/NicholasAshbaugh. All of them are on my About tab, so don't worry about getting all the addresses. Just click my name under this video and go to the About tab. But again, it's Nicholas Ashbaugh if you need to figure that out. Okay, and that, my friends, is everything. Such a pleasure to be able to read for you today. It's Friday when I'm doing this live, so I'll be back again on Sunday. Let's see, that would be Leo that I'd be reading for next. So you can check out the my website for my schedule. And again, if you follow me on social media, you'll get a reminder probably tomorrow about the upcoming readings. Until I see you guys again, much love and light. I hope that you have a great month ahead. Okay, see you soon. Bye-bye.